Hey, it's Brian Carringer from Lumber Revolution. Today, we're gonna make an engraved cutting board from scratch from a black cherry tree that my neighbor cut down about 1.5 years ago. So we're gonna go and actually chainsaw mill this up, plane it down, route it, saw and everything, and then engrave with the Glowforge. So stay tuned to see how that happens. Alright, so I'm going to go out to my garage and I'm going to select the piece of wood that I want. This small little piece that could be used for firewood, but instead we're going to turn it into a cutting board. So I'm going to use this jig with the chainsaw. It allows me to make straight cuts. I'm going to cut 3 sides of the log. Cut the first thing and then first face, and then we go to the second face, cut off of that. That way I can get a pretty much perfect 90-degree angle off of that. Use that to cut the third face, and then I have my 3 faces that will make a great board. So then I'm going to put it to the side so that I can cut boards out of that. This first board that I cut wasn't great. I didn't end up using that. I cut 2 more, and then this 4th one is actually the board that I'll end up using. So we'll take that, run it through the planer until we get it perfectly flat and all of the scratch marks and stuff are done. Take it to this jig where I can cut a straight edge on it, and then I can line it up on the fence of the table saw and cut the other side perfectly straight. Bring it to the miter saw and miter out both edges. That one I put a slight angle to, you'll notice. I'm going to sand it down with some 80 grit sandpaper on the random orbital sander. Take it over and do the round overs for all of the sides with the router. Change out that bit to a cove bit so that I can cut the handles on the side. And then I'm going to measure that out and do a test piece real quick. Take my measurements on the board so I know where to go, where the stops are at for that. I'm going to go slide side to side until I get the coves cut in there. And then with that, we're going to bring it back over and use 220 grit for the random orbital sander, sand all the edges, and we are good to go. Ready to engrave. All right, now that we've got this sanded and routed and all cut and ready to go, we're gonna go engrave it on the Glowforge. So here we go. All right, so here's the first thing we gotta do is we're gonna remove the crumb tray because this cutting board in particular is just slightly over 1 inch thick. What that's gonna do, the crumb tray, when it's in, gives you a max height of 1/2 inch. If you remove it, it is 1.5 inches. Therefore, we're able to boost things up a little bit. So to make the focus height work, what we're going to do is add 2 pieces of 3/4 inch because this is just over 1 inch. We do the math, we come up with just over 0.25 for the focal height because 0.75 plus 1 inch is 1.75 minus 1.5 gives us 0.25. So that's how the math works on that. So we're going to put those down and we're going to put this guy in here towards the center so that we can engrave it. And then you have to also decide which side's the top, which side's the bottom. Engrave on the top. So put that in there, shut it, and then we'll go load our file. Here we go. All right, here we go. I've got my file uploaded. This is a kitchen conversions chart that I got from Glowforge. Occasionally they give away free stuff. If you click on this little present right here, you can get free things from them, like this guitar strap right now. We're not going to do that right now because I already got free things. So this kitchen conversion chart, I'm going to keep it as is because it's got some sizing stuff here that I don't want to stretch and mess with. Sometimes I like to stretch it and make it, a little bigger on the board, but not today because these are specific to the size. So we're going to place this and kind of eyeball it towards the center, not ignoring what the box looks like, and I'm just going with the top of the engrave to the bottom of the engrave here and kind of eyeballing, hey, somewhere right about there is going to be good. And entered my settings and I put in my material height, and so here we go. Let's go engrave. All right, there we go. And as always, we're looking for our little autofocus box to make sure that that pops up so that we are precisely focused on the piece that we're engraving. I see mine, so I'm good to go. If you don't see yours, hit the cancel print and start the process over. Or if you go and you decide, hey, I need to shift this one way or the other because of how it shifted the focus, go ahead and cancel the print, start it over so that you don't engrave the way that it was. So we're good to go. I'm going to go hit the button and we're going to engrave this. right, now that the engraving is done, the last step in the process is to oil the board up. So I'm going to use this cutting board oil, and we're just going to cover this whole thing with one coat. One of the things you may notice as you do this, depending on the engrave type things you do, you may get some charring in places. I have found the oil takes the charring off very nicely. Some people like to mask them. I don't find a need for masking it, and then I sometimes run into problems with the masking anyway. So no masking for us, just straight oil, and we're going to go coat this. What we typically do is we'll coat this with one coat and then let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes and then coat it a second time. With this one, I'm probably going to go 3 coats just because it's a little bit thicker than a usual cutting board. So we're going to go 3 coats on this. I won't show you all of those, but we're going to coat this real quick and then show you what it looks like at the end. And there it is with the oil on it. That's going to be about the color that it's going to be even after we put a couple more coats on. We're going to let this soak in for about 30 minutes and then we'll give it another couple of coats, giving the dry time in between, and that'll be it. So thanks for watching. If you would please like and subscribe, and also if you would like to purchase your own Glowforge, if you want to use our referral link, we can save you up to $500 on your purchase of a Glowforge, so use that down below. Thanks for watching, and check us out every Monday as we make new things.